action with the latest sports news, updates, game previews, breakdown, and analysis in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. And now, let's get ready to run down! Welcome to the Rundown, where we take you right into the action with the latest sports news, updates, game previews, breakdown, and analysis in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. And now, let's get ready to run down!
Alright, what is up, Blue Eagle Nation, and welcome again to your weekly sports habit only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 V, voice of the Blue Eagle. Thank you so much again for hanging out with me, Anthony, as always. And if just last week we had our Atenean Arnesadores talk about, of course, our very successful 30th Southeast Asian Games, where our own country, being the hosts, we bagged 149 total gold medals. That is our best finish ever, because in 1991 we had a 91 gold medal haul. So again, major props to all our Southeast Asian Games athletes. And one of those glittering gold medals comes from, of course, our Philippine national baseball team, where 5 Ateneans proudly balled out on the diamond for flag and country, and 2 of them happen to be my favorite baseball brothers. Of course, the marvelous Makasait duo of Paulo over here, Pitch and Paulo Makasait, and of course, Javi Makasait, third baseman for the Philippine national team. Again, guys, welcome over here at Radyo Katipunan. Long time no see.
Yeah.
Pero first meeting natin to for 2020, di ba? Pero ayun nga, them being my favorite baseball brothers, hashtag baseball is a brotherhood. Baka fatherhood na rin, of course, including si Sir Norman, di ba, who loves tuning in over here. Again, welcome. And of course, just like to give a shout out to Coach Adrian Bernardo, of course, your captain, shortstop as well. Dino Altamonte, catcher for the team, and of course Miguel Salud, the another pitcher, diba, Paolo, along with you. And also one big congratulations to Coach Randy Dezer, diba, the baseball and softball program head, and of course the head coach for the Blue Girls, and of course Cheska Altamonte, the catcher and captain for our Blue Girls. So again, Ateneans, I was trying to bug Javi and Paulo over here over the Christmas break, although they were out of the country that time. But finally, we got to meet for this evening. All right. Javi and Paulo had a Japan trip, over the Christmas break with their family. But si Paulo, kasi, if you follow him on social media, he's still busy working on his pitching velocity, because recently I think he shared a YouTube video about about this particular workout yata, Paulo?
Yeah, I'm gonna experiment on that soon.
All right. And I think Paulo has something big later for Javi was mentioning about you having a tryout. No?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Sige nga, which club is this?
It's an independent league in Japan. There are 3 different leagues, but I'm joining the one in the Kansai region.
All right.
Osaka, Kyoto, ganun. The team is Sakai Strikes.
Okay.
There are only 4 teams. This is one of the 4 teams.
Okay, in that league.
Mm-hmm.
Pero so far, like, the competition over there, parang have you heard about it before? Like, have they produced, like, really strong pitching talent?
Not pitching talent necessarily, but I've heard there were 2 players in that league that were called up to the NPB. That's like the Japanese Major League.
Wow. So again, parang you're right now you're gearing up for it, just preparing yourself.
I'm sure it's gonna be difficult, but kakayanin. Let's see what happens.
And with the training that you're doing, diba? You're in the gym most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're preparing for that. So see, Javi was busy with our school team, diba?
Yeah.
With our baseball Blue Eagles. Saan nga yung out of town training nyo?
So we actually train in Clark, the Villages. So those are the fields that we played for the SEA Games.
Right, same venue. Pero I was kind of worried, when I was asking you if you would be available for today,
Yeah.
I think yung weekend na to, of course, we all know what happened with that Taal volcano, diba? You guys were still in Clark at that time?
No, we were back in Manila at the time.
Buti na lang. Buti na lang. Because I heard na the Clark Airport itself was already covered in ash. Like, by Sunday, ganun. Parang yung ashfall was coming all the way north.
Wow.
Ganun. Like, even in my place near San Juan area, San Juan QC ako meron na rin, like a thin blanket of it. Pero, good na you guys were out of it at that point. Pero, training camp, this time around, Javi, parang, what was the main focus of camp? I know you, parang, kakagaling mo lang from the SEA Games, pero this one, parang, you were trying to work on which particular aspects gearing up for at least this season?
So obviously it's our 5th training camp in Clark. So each year is quite the same. So they give us rigorous trainings, a lot of physical work, running, jogging.
Yeah.
So it's more of getting the conditioning in.
Right.
But this year in particular, I think we were more focused on finding specific roles for each players. We lost a lot of seniors from last year, and our team completely shifted from being, let's say, having an ace like Pau and a very reliable catcher like Dino. We would now have to rely on a lot more pitchers to eat up some innings and a lot more versatilities from different players, both from the starting lineup and on the bench.
Right.
So I think the main focus was trying to find that good mix. To help us, for 9 innings for 10 games.
Right.
So, yeah.
Like it's a totally different baseball Blue Eagle team kasi parang from the time I've known you guys, diba, I was talking with guys like Marquis Alindogan with Pao over here, then Radito, but so it's a complete revamp of your lineup. Pero Javi, you're in a leadership position for this year, syempre, diba? And parang how are the young guys sort of responding to you trying to guide them with it's a completely different team.
Well, there are a couple of young players last year, some rookies that actually had a lot of experience and exposure.
Yeah.
So some of the names are like Martin Tan, Yoji Ueda, who've actually stepped up in a lot of moments for us last season. So we're hoping for them to take the next step forward.
Okay.
So aside from them are also the pitchers. Miggy's gonna take the spot of Pao as our ace pitcher. We have Nico Lozano, Jill Fallart, who's also a rookie, and Luis Estacio, who we're hoping that could do well this season.
Yeah. Si Pao, have you worked out with the current pitchers in their bullpen?
No, I haven't seen the team.
Hindi pa talaga. Okay.
Only I played against them in one game.
But so far, how would you gauge this pitching talent that they're trying to build over sila Javi?
I haven't seen much, honestly.
Talaga.
I'm not in the good spot to say.
All right. But anyways, moving on, guys. I know we have lots of baseball to talk about today. Javi and I were earlier off air, he wanted to talk about this. He really wanted to talk about this. And I'm sure Pao, Javi, as with any baseball fan out here, when the news broke out, my initial reaction was, whoa, what is this? What are we witnessing? Of course, baseball fans who are listening to us, we're talking about the scandal that is rocking the rest of the big leagues right now. The Houston Astros, your 2017 World Series champions, are currently they're right smack in a cheating scandal that has totally caught the baseball world off guard, so to speak. Pero Pao, stealing signs, or picking up from tells from pitchers to everywhere. That's part of baseball. Like ever since I'm talking about the 20s or whatever.
Yeah.
Parang they would have guys now before who would have telescopes way up in the stands, who would take a peek at the dugout or whatever they're doing just to get insider info, diba? Yeah. So stealing signs. It's baseball, diba? Playing off whatever they're trying to call on the sideline, whatever signals they're trying to give off. Parang it's managers trying to outwit each other, players trying to get one step ahead of each other. Pero Paolo, what makes it so different, especially in the Astros case? What makes it so different kapag technology or the misuse of it is sort of involved na?
Something me and Javi were talking about earlier is that if you watch a game live in the stadium, you would see TVs of the broadcast. As a spectator, they would show the play maybe 5-10 seconds delayed.
Yeah.
So what if the Astros dugout had a real-time live feed.
Pwede.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they
That
were
could
using
be a possibility.
and the camera that they were using is the same camera that you see in the telecast, diba? Center field,
Yeah.
where you see the whole field. Pero sige, Javi,
So actually, there's a picture leaked with a lot of cameras in center field. So like mga Fox,
Oh.
ESPN. So each camera had their own designated, let's say, company. But then there's one particular camera, untitled, that had no tag to it. There's no label.
Okay.
So the report was that the Houston Astros had a live feed from center field relaying to a TV right outside the dugout. And so when they would actually find out the signals, they would bang a trash can. I think if it were a curveball or a breaking ball, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't bang the trash can if
it's
it were a
fastball.
fastball. So that was the thing with 2017. Then moving forward, I think they got creative.
Okay.
So there are a lot of rumors now that they actually used buzzers.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Or other methods. So that's still on hold. The one that Rob Manfred, the MLB commissioner,
Yeah.
released was on the trash can banging and how the Astros, let's say, manipulated the system or something like that.
And even with the buzzers down, it would be
Yeah.
under their jerseys.
Yeah.
And parang I was reading something about Jose Altuve when they
Yes.
won it.
Yeah.
Parang Jose Altuve was reluctant to, take off his jersey and
Yeah,
celebrate.
yeah,
So
yeah.
parang they're now speculating, hey, maybe he's hiding something underneath
Yeah.
and, so on and so forth. Pero, I mean, di ba, when you're looking at this, Javi, Paulo, parang, of course, I understand that fans are saying, hey, look, they cheated, the solution that pops out of their heads is strip them of their title.
Yeah.
Diba? Pero like in baseball kasi, I know baseball has had its series of of scandals in the past,
Right.
namely the steroid scandal, diba? Pero parang it's not as easy as, take it away from them, diba? Is it, Pao?
Yeah.
Well, there are other types of cheating that actually stripped off titles, like our 1992 Little League team that
Yun
brought
din.
in overage players and not from their own charter. Also in UAP basketball, when LaSalle won a few championships, but one
Right.
players is not, what do you call it? What's the term for that?
Parang eligible yata eh.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that should be done in MLB, especially in MLB.
Right. At the highest level kasi of baseball eh.
Like especially now how the social media and information is so accessible.
True.
Not just the fans are angry, but actually the victims are the players. They were saying a lot of pitchers lost their jobs because they got clubbered by the Astros during the season.
I know, I
So
understand.
they get demoted or they actually get released.
I understand.
And some teams like the Dodgers victims of 2 World Series. Alex Cora, who's also a member of the Houston Astros in 2017, then becomes the manager of the Red Sox in 2018. And then they have the Apple Watch scandal. So it's tough, especially as a Yankee fan. I think as an MLB fan in general, because stealing signs, it's something that it's a skill. So you could tell if a pitcher's, let's say, there's some tells for some pitchers, but then to take it to a point where you use actually technology that, let's say, other teams don't have access to, that's pretty unfair.
Right. But again, parang records in baseball, they stand. I know Barry Bonds is credited, not Sammy Sosa and so on and so forth. But this one's kind of different though because again,
there's an entire team.
Exactly.
Not one person.
And the players, curiously, it's the players who are left unscathed over here. But it's the GM, it's the manager, even Carlos Beltran, who hasn't even managed the game yet, is, fired from his post. So parang isn't it, Pao, para sa'yo, parang isn't it, a bit kind of, parang unfair to say the least. Parang players are, they're clean over here. Diba?
Well, my concern is not the players, but it's the title.
All right. Parang yun kasi it's that it carries that much weight, diba? So to speak, no. But again, we hope that the commissioner and the rest of the league figures out a way to move on from this. Diba? I mean, it's a really really tough issue to deal with, especially parang when you're trying to bring baseball to a younger fan base. Diba? You're trying to grow the league internationally. That's really something that they have to work out. But enough of negative stuff over here. I think that was a load for us to swallow. Again, continuing on, of course, our 42nd in the world ranked Philippine baseball team. I was checking the World Baseball Softball Confederation rankings like yesterday lang, no. Pero our team, no, in SEA Games history, I think men's baseball was only played thrice yata before the 2019 SEA Games. So it's a parang relatively young sport lang to in the Southeast Asian region, no. So we took the first gold over Thailand in 2005, and then Thailand won it in 2007. And then baseball finally made a return to the SEA Games calendar after it was put on hold for parang 3 straight SEA Games editions, no? Pero like for you guys, no, Pao, how does it feel to be, just be part of this special group of guys that, you put Philippine baseball back on top and on the map again when it made its return to the SEA Games?
Well, since we found out we were hosting a SEA Games this year, we found out last 2015. Got us all excited. So we really prepared well for it. And then, sakto pa rin, we changed up the lineup 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I guess now is the perfect timing for us to show how much our teamwork would, how do you say this?
Sure.
We would display our teamwork in front of our home crowd.
Sure. And then having naman, no, I know it's a huge honor just to be part of the national team, diba? Pero how much of a privilege is it to be like what I mentioned kanina, no? You have 5 Ateneans in the team, diba? Parang hindi lang for the country, pero parang also for the Ateneo community. It's such a big deal, diba?
Yeah, it's such a humbling experience, especially to be part of the national team and also to represent Ateneo. I actually haven't been able to play with Coach Aids until 2017 when I first joined the national team. So that was a good experience, playing along with him. Also playing with Miguel Salud, who is also the ace of Ateneo. So that was my first time actually playing with him. Growing up, I'd watch him play against my brother and other teams. And, it's a pretty good experience playing with, some Atenean legends.
Sure, diba? Pero did Ateneo send in the most representatives ba? Like, alam ko Lasal also had theirs, diba?
Yes.
Namely si Hesmundo was there, diba? Parang, did Ateneo field in the most, kahit alumni or current players?
Now that you ask, I'm still counting.
Yun nga di ba?
LaSalle has quite a few players as well.
Okay.
Including a coach.
And the coach, yeah.
Alright.
Adamson too. They have around 5 players also.
Okay, so parang they got like parang a good number from the top tier programs in baseball in the UAAP naman.
It's not a sort of divide or select. We really tried out for it. So it just so happened that these numbers of players from certain schools are in the team.
Right.
So back in 2017, as Pao mentioned, that's when we had a tryout.
Okay.
So majority of the team, I'd say around 70%, have been part of the team since 2017. So we've been playing with the same group of guys for 3 years.
Okay. Yeah. So that's good, no, for continuity, diba? For knowing strengths and weaknesses of your teammates and everything. But before the Southeast Asian Games, last October, you warmed up for the SEA Games, sort of, diba? At the Asian Baseball Championships in Taiwan. And may mention ko lang you brought down 3 teams ahead in the rankings, namely what? China, you beat them 1-0, Pakistan by 11-0, and number 28 Hong Kong, you downed them 10-0. Diba? Isali mo pa dun yung Sri Lanka, who, well, mas mababa naman Sri Lanka, but isipin mo, no, you were ranked number 33 yata coming into the Asian Baseball Championships. Pero but looking at the magnitude of the tournament, parang ang Asian Baseball Championships ba, Pao, would this equate to like something of an Asian Cup in baseball?
Yes, I think that it's the same thing.
Parang ganun na, no? Parang ganun na. Pero like, what was working so well for the team that time? Like beating these top 30 teams, like with big margins.
Our coach would tell us in practice, well, it's not my role anyway, hitting is the most important thing our team would have to do to win games.
Right.
Pitching was not a problem.
Right, because of course you're there.
No, hindi naman. All of us.
All right. Pero like I was checking out the rankings now, Javi.
Yeah.
Parang when I'm looking at these teams, parang do we have to put into perspective the ranking that they put? Kasi parang sometimes the ranking goes higher not because they're really the better team, diba?
Yeah.
Pero how do they figure it out ba? Like the
So
placing.
a lot of the placings depend on, I think, how many tournaments you join and how you place there.
Yun.
So
Depends what type of tournament it is also.
So it doesn't just include the men's team. You could also have youth teams where you get points. So
okay.
your country could, let's say, rank up faster.
Right.
Or get more points. So I think the problem with the Philippines, I think back then, is that we weren't joining as many tournaments. But
Makes sense.
going into the tournament, we knew we were capable of beating these teams at a higher margin.
Right.
We've beaten them before, so we don't believe what the rankings say.
Yeah.
So we know we're a good team, and I think we displayed it in Taiwan.
For sure. And the funny thing is, Pakistan and Sri Lanka are not baseball nations; they're cricket countries.
Yeah.
And Pao, like in cricket, if I'm not mistaken, their pitcher or whatever it is, their pitcher is allowed to legally hit the batter.
Oh, I didn't.
It is.
I don't really follow cricket.
Parang ganun eh. So
I
parang
think that's a commodity.
yun nga eh. Parang what was it like facing like ball players who for sure they come from a cricket background. Like, diba?
At least once in their life, yeah. But I know, I'm aware that Sri Lanka gets support from Japanese people. Like they'll be trained back then. Because right now they're improving. They had like a 5 rank jump this year. Pakistan's been up in the 20s. Like, last Asian Games they would beat teams like Hong Kong and Thailand also by big margins. That's why we were surprised, and it was a much of a confidence booster that we would beat Pakistan in a big margin.
Sure.
Also, I think the Pakistans were supported by an American coach back then,
Okay.
but not anymore.
All right. So at least parang they're getting some, additional help from the outside, diba? Pero speaking of confidence boost, no, Javi, that Pao mentioned, like how big was this given that I think yung Asian Championships was only like a couple of months away from the SEA Games, diba? How big was that for, yung at least building your confidence, for the SEA Games?
So we were well aware that the Asian Baseball Championship was at a much higher level as compared to the SEA Games. So we knew that given that we did well, there's no reason for us to lose a game in the SEA Games. So our coach would tell us that we'd be fighting ourselves. If we were to lose, then we were just beating ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we knew we were better than them. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but then we've beaten the same teams in the past, and we know that we're more than capable of handling them easily.
Right. And I think yung core at the Asian Championships was basically retained for the SEA Games.
Same team
lang. All right. And then, so yung format ng SEA Games was parang single round robin lang, for the 5 teams, and then immediately, top 2 finishers would go at it. Pero I just want to note na si Mr. Pepe Munoz, of course, PABA Secretary General. No, he was really confident. I mean, in some of his interviews, he was saying na, you guys were confident, from that you could go for gold from the very start of it. Like, parang how is that feeling of confidence, during training or even when you guys are just chatting around? Parang could you really feel that, hey, we're head and shoulders above the competition here?
Well, even I've heard that opposing teams would fear us as well, in the sense that I overheard someone, like a spectator, talking to a Singaporean. It's like, oh, who are you guys playing against today? Oh, we're playing Philippines. Like, oh,
talaga?
No, they said, they asked him, are you guys gonna win? It's like, hell no, we're gonna get crushed. And it's actually overwhelming for me that we know we're gonna win the gold, but we didn't know it. We would beat the teams up that bad.
Yeah.
Like mercy rule most of the time.
Yeah. It's like teams like Cambodia, yung mga ganun, diba?
I didn't know we had that much potential.
And you really showed it, no? Pero, however, for a while there seemed to be a bit of trouble for your opening game because Thailand, diba? They were backed by, I didn't notice, they had 5 American Thailanders or five Americans, diba? That gave you guys quite of a scare, diba?
Yeah.
That in that opener, you had to come back from a 1-0 deficit, diba? In the first inning, then you scored 2 runs in the second, no? Pero I really have to commend, Pao yung the pitching that really put the Fies away, His Mundo, he picked up the win and he finished with I think 5 strikeouts in 8 innings that game. And then when you were really, dragged deep by Filand, it was a familiar name that Javi mentioned a while ago. It was the comebacking Miguel Salud that closed it out in the last inning, for the save. And you know this guy pretty well, diba? Miguel Salud. Because back when he was a freshman in 2013, he helped steer Ateneo to its very first UAAP baseball championship. However, greater opportunities came his way, so he tried his luck over at California State University. But back then, Paolo, he was already a rookie MVP, diba? Pero what biggest change did you notice about Salud's, skill on the mound this time around?
From what I know, he just learned a new pitch.
Oh, okay. What
He had a
was?
fastball and a curveball. He learned the slider also. So like I say, that's fastball and curveball is a big difference in speed.
Right.
So he added something in between. And maybe a splitter also, so 4th pitch. That makes it much more difficult for hitters to read his pitch pattern or what he's gonna pitch next. So.
Right.
And I think his specialty is allowing ground balls. That's
Okay.
what I've heard when he was pitching back in Division 3. He would always get double plays for his infield.
Talaga. All right.
So yeah, big rally killers when he's on the mound.
Sure. And yun nga, parang Javi, you were saying kanina, parang it's fun to see parang an Ateneo baseball legend, so to speak, diba? At work, diba? Pero how did you guys, help him sort of get reacclimated again with, with the same old people that he used to play with, or diba, some new faces? Parang how did you help him, get accustomed real quick, with the roster that you had?
Well, actually, growing up, like the baseball community is really small.
True.
So, and we're right around the same age bracket, from around 5 years apart, 5 to let's say 7 years apart.
Okay.
So everyone really knows each other or knows of each other.
Yeah.
So it's quite fun, playing in a small group of guys who you've been playing with all your life, or with someone who you've heard of, and you actually get the opportunity to play with them. So I don't think that part was tough.
Okay.
Because we all have one goal. We want to do it for our country, and we want to help expose the sport more.
Sure.
And I think we did a pretty good job of that.
Right. And after that game, I think, you put it behind you agad because you blew out Cambodia 12-0, Singapore, 17-0, and even Indonesia, diba? 14-1, where Paolo just allowed one hit, diba? And you struck out in 3 of the 4 innings that you pitched, diba? Excellent game for you over there. Pero Paolo, going back to that Indonesia game where you swept the elimination round, finally. Like, what weaknesses did you spot in their hitters, and just how did you parang exploit them?
I guess since it's not the Asian Championships anymore, so we could overpower them with fastballs.
Just straight up fastball lang.
Yeah,
down the line.
That's what my coaches noticed also. Not much playing around with breaking balls, wasting my pitch count or anything. Just get it over with the fastball.
And they're not used to. I think you've built up your speed pa, or
Yeah, by a bit.
Okay.
And almost there to 90 miles per hour.
all right. And that's tough for that sort of level, diba? For them to see. So, but an excellent pitching job for you.
But with the trends now in the Americans, I'm sure pitchers there in the US would throw 100, but hitters would still hit it anyways. I guess the same thing would transition everywhere else in the world. So I won't be surprised if hitters I face would catch up.
Okay. Pero at least for this one, they didn't.
Thankfully.
But also in this contest, Avi, when you swept the elimination round, I think you had 14 hits versus Indonesia. Pero, diba, how big of a momentum boost was this? Knowing that, okay, you had to have a rematch with Thailand the following game.
I think Well, our coaches would tell us throughout the tournament that even though let's say, our game against Thailand was pretty convincing, and the game after, where I think that was Cambodia, we beat them mercy rule. But then we still saw a few flaws, especially in our hitting.
Okay.
And the way we were moving around the field.
Yeah.
Our coaches were just mentioning, just keep playing, just be natural. Because I think, or what our coaches thought was that we were new to the field. And given that we were seeing a larger crowd than usual,
Okay.
I think he just wanted us to relax and just play our game. So I think as the games went through we were able to get comfortable on the box and both on the field, and finally find our groove. And I think that's what happened in the last two games.
Right.
Where we finally got it going.
And even Sir Pepe Munoz said, diba, the difference between your first game against Thailand and the gold medal match when you had to face Thailand again was that that adjustment in hitting, diba? So it felt like parang you were more loose, so to speak. Parang ganun. Pero I mean that gold medal match was parang that went our way. Parang early on you went up 9-0 and then you coasted to what 15-2.
Yeah.
Then practically what everyone had to hit over there, diba? Si Coach Adrian had to, si Busito had to, and it just followed, no?
Yeah.
Si even Jerome Yenson won with 2 RBIs pa and everything.
Not just the starting lineup, even the bench. They were hitting everything. It was more of oohs and ahs in that game.
Talaga. And even the
rather than gasps.
And of course, Pao, diba, solid rotation with his Mundo, Romeo Hasmin, Vlad de Gia, and of course, si Salud, diba, solid pitching rotation there. Pero parang if we were to highlight like a tournament MVP, parang I think si Sir Pepe Munoz, no, he really said that of course Edwin Busito, no, parang who had the most stolen bases, I think, sa Asian Championships. Parang he was this spark plug for the Philippine team, no, and he finished with 9 RBIs, 15 stolen bases, 10 runs, 9 hits. For you, Javi, when you see Edwin Busito just do his thing out there on the diamond, what does he bring to the table every time Edwin joins the 8 others out there?
Yeah, I think it's his speed. For both defensively and offensively. I mean, playing in UAP with him for like 4 years, I hated going against him. Once he got on base, the whole league would know. Once he gets on first, he's gonna end up on third.
Talaga?
No matter what.
That fast?
He's that fast. No matter how you giving a pitch out or his jump is insane. His lead is huge.
Okay.
You can't get him out.
Okay.
So I really commend him for that. He's pretty impressive.
Wow. So parang like I've been hearing this name, diba, parang throughout the years, pero I didn't know that Edwin Busito was that much of a pure athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about he just flies through the bases.
Yeah.
Grabe naman yun. Pero even more impressive, I think you mentioned something about the crowd, no?
Yeah.
Parang Paolo, I think parang during the SEA Games, parang may typhoon pa nga na dumating, so there was quite heavy rains. Pero Philippine baseball fans, they came out to support you guys. They came out to see you guys. Like, how was the crowd response? At least having their presence there. Diba sabi mo kanina, they were cheering you on when they were seeing all these hits come out left and right.
Well, even our coaches even though our coaches tell us that don't mind the crowd, whatever, just play your game, it's still an encouraging feeling that we have a lot of supporters coming to the games.
True. Of course, parang it's not as sizable as filling up Rizal Memorial, diba? Pero
I wish that would happen.
diba? Sana nga.
There
was just having them.
There was a video on YouTube showing it. Maybe it's like 50 seconds long, but still, who would imagine that?
Which SEA Games was that?
2005.
2005.
Yeah. Last time that we hosted it.
Yeah.
So sana, parang it could spark something that they could, come out to see the games more often. Pero after all of that, of course, you had this medal ceremony that I saw via live stream, diba? You guys are coming out of there, parang ready to receive your awards and everything. And I think Sir Norman must have been mighty proud of his boys, for the accomplishments. And I think one of the best moments that captured the celebration of it was the tribute to a mother, none other than the mother of Cheska Altamonte and Dino Altamonte, which Cheska she posted this out on her Instagram account, diba, saying na this double gold is for mom, diba? It's for mom. So parang it's a real touching moment that captures parang the sacrifice of a parent. Much more a Filipino parent, a baseball parent based over here in Metro Manila. Kasi alam natin, baseball is not as hyped.
Yeah.
It's not as out there in the media. Parang lesser people play the sport. So parang a baseball parent over here would have to go the extra mile talaga to support their child's passion for the sport, diba? And I think Javi, kayo ni Paolo, you have really fond memories of siguro with Sir Norman growing up, and him supporting this passion of yours. Parang like do you recall parang him just parang what were those moments wherein parang you really appreciated the support that he was giving you with your passion in baseball?
I guess, well, he started baseball first, and my dad just supported him whatsoever way, and me and all our other siblings followed. But then I guess when we were younger, he got to learn to play baseball as well. Like I would ask him to. We would ask him to catch for us something.
Okay.
Like to do bullpen when we were kids. So like we have no one to pitch to.
Because it's not as simple as like for me. Like, okay, my dad played basketball with me. Yeah, because it was easy. Parang on the driveway, we just hook up something to the post, then okay na kami. But with baseball, kasi it's different. Parang I know with all the other Elam parents, diba? Parang it would be much more of a sacrifice. Kasi where would the Elam games be?
It would depend. There'd be in CSA.
Okay.
Actually, somewhere now here in Santo Niño Field in Marikina. There used to the game.
There are two fields that
used to be used.
There are two fields that are torn down right now.
Oh.
One is the one in Barangka extension of cemetery. The other one's in Rosario Pasig, where the Blue Girls used to practice.
Okay. Pero parang yun nga, parang with this, like what Javi mentioned, baseball kasi here, especially the Elam parents in the Elam community, diba? That's where it's a very small, tight-knit group, diba? So parang like how was it parang growing up within that community, and then parang you see each other rise through the ranks, hindi ba?
So like as I mentioned earlier, how we're such a small group in baseball, it's a small community. Well, not just in Elam, because when you grow up, you get to play the nationals. So as Elam, as a representative of Manila, we get to play against other charters.
Right.
So some of our teammates now, we used to play against them. They're from Tanawan, they're from Los Baños.
Okay.
So yeah, it was pretty cool actually teaming up with them, given that we used to have, like, let's say, a rivalry in the past.
Right.
And with how Filipinos are so glued to social media, everyone would know everyone.
Oo, diba? Malamang, lalo na baseball community, diba? Liit lang yan. Pero, diba, parang, what also struck me was si Cheska and Dino, they were talking about their experiences nga, growing up with, having their parents support them and their passion for baseball and softball, respectively. Parang sabi niya, both of them, they never dreamed of the going to the national team, winning gold for the Philippines, and for the Blue Girls, diba, experiencing that level of success internationally. But for you guys, like starting from Elam and all of that, parang did you ever think about where you are right now before, parang, or is it still sort of like a whirlwind of a dream for you?
So since I love the sport so much, like growing up, I always wanted to become an MLB player. Right. So
here.
Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure every child has that dream of like whoever plays baseball. But once I got to high school, reality struck, and I was like, that's not gonna happen. So like looking back now, it's actually pretty humbling to see where I've gone.
Yeah.
And the people that's actually gone through that I've gone through with, diba? So all the way from the bottom, and then now what we've accomplished, diba? So,
True.
Pretty good experience.
Definitely, Javi. Tapos, Paolo, parang si Cheska, I know she's now a member, I think, of the Philippine Athletes Commission. Parang, and she was actually the one who delivered the oath of sportsmanship pa during the opening ceremony, And I think this particular SEA Games, it's a great send off for, I think, one of the greatest ambassadors for softball, diba, internationally. When of course our Blue Girls they won our 10th SEA Games championship. Pero ito si Cheska pala, parang I didn't know that she had this huge sacrifice on her part kasi she left a quite a good paying job, diba, to go full time with the Blue Girls and chase her dreams in softball, no. Pero for you naman, Pao, no, reaching this level of success, and diba, you have a big tryout coming up for you, parang like take me through that yung immense personal sacrifice and commitment that you have to put out as a ball player to reach that level of success.
I think what I think about it is that just play while you still can, especially since we're younger.
Yeah.
I guess work and corporate things is not that much age dependent. So yeah, that's what I've heard. I also talked to some people like Cam Rodriguez of the football team.
Oh yeah,
she's still playing now.
Right, she is.
What I asked that, what she told me is like, yeah, play hanggat kaya pa.
And you guys are still young. You're in your prime, diba? You have years of baseball ahead of you, diba? And parang so right now, no, we're given that so much success in the Southeast Asian Games, even at the Asian Championships, no. Parang the challenge right now for Philippine baseball is to keep sustaining that, diba? And carrying it forward. And I think parang one of the major help rather na our national athletes receive, of course, was the upgrade in facilities, diba? Give it in Tarlac or even in Clark, diba? Of course, even Rizal Memorial, I know it underwent so much renovation over the past ilang months na. Okay, just to be clear, Ateneans and baseball fans, we're not expecting Rizal to be Oracle Park or the ONC Park. No, but like for you, Javi, Paolo, having a serviceable, like a good venue, like the Clark Villages, it really helps you out, when you're playing.
Yeah. I think with any sport, the better equipment or facilities you've had, you have, the more motivated you'll want to perform. Given that, let's say these people are investing in you, you just want to give back.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yun. And then even Cheska have mentioned something about it really hinges on the it's not only the support from the government, pero it's how the government and your national sports association, this one being the PABA, diba? How they cooperate and support each other, and that will bring up the level of the sport up. And I think Mr. Chito Loizaga is doing a wonderful job for Philippine baseball right now. He's got lots of plans going. I was reading through some articles.
Yeah, we have a lot.
Diba?
I think next week we have the under 18 team tryouts.
Yes, exactly. And even the under 12s, parang he's thinking of that. And even this, Paolo, Javi, how helpful is this? Chito Lozaga mentioned something about a fun at bat program for kinder to grade 3, grade 5 public school students, and they're talking about bringing this to like outside of Metro Manila. I'm talking about Laguna, Batangas. Diba, parang imagine if this could get going. Parang you could have a unified, like a national Little League baseball thing going on. Diba, like how big would that be for kids who want to participate in it?
That would be huge because the exposure the sport will get in the future is always dependent on the kids. Because there's the ones that's playing the sport who'll grow up loving the sport.
Yeah.
And those are the future national team players, the future university team players.
Yeah.
So that would be a great opportunity for the sport of baseball.
For sure. And what Mr. Loizaga said was he's thinking about even starting this. Parang you don't actually need a field, kahit basketball court lang. Just the basics of throwing, of catching, but maybe even hitting if that's possible, diba?
Yeah, you just put up a net.
Exactly. And then there's this misconception kasi na parang, baseball's kind of expensive, but even kids in Cuba grew up playing stickball on the street, diba?
And for us, we would donate equipment also.
Exactly.
And like these kids in, let's say, the Dominican or Cuba, they're the best in the world.
Exactly.
They don't have a proper field. They don't have equipment growing up. They just play baseball.
Exactly. Parang and even with so little that they have, you see their international success, you see their major league success, diba? And parang I think that's enough evidence that we need that, maybe this could be, a start of it. Diba?
Well, maybe because that's the one thing they're driven to. But
Yun
here in
din.
the Philippines, for us, we have to finish our education. Not that I'm saying it's bad, but
Well,
it's good to have complete education.
you have a point. Fair enough. Pero I think, from there on, one of the major plans rin for Philippine baseball coming up is the World Baseball Classic Qualifiers to be held in Tucson, Arizona in a couple of months again, in March, diba? And is there going to be a new selection or a bigger pool of players for this, Javi?
So I think there's a new coach. He's from the United States.
Okay.
He's Bill Pickett.
Right, I heard about him.
He coaches a junior college in LA. So he actually came over the weekend, or
Okay.
actually a couple of days last week, to look at our national team players and some university team players.
Okay.
So I think, I'm not quite sure, but I think they're gonna have the team with half from Filipino Americans from the States and half Filipino players from here.
Right.
So with the selection process, I'm not quite sure how that'll work, but it's a great opportunity to actually make the qualifier,
Right.
and to hopefully make the main round.
And I think parang sabi ni Mr. Loizaga, no, parang it's gonna be parang a 28-man team, parang 14, parang ganun yata,
So
no?
it's like the MLB postseason. Extra space in your roster.
I see. Okay. So, parang, and then ito, si Mr. Bill Pickett, no? So he comes from Pierce College in LA, and then like an article featured about parang what he saw in Philippine ball players, no? Parang he said that he's willing to invest in developing like a real national development program, like from Luzon to Mindanao, because here's the thing again, he said that Filipinos, end quote, are built for baseball, citing of course Jose Altuve, minus the scandal, diba?
Yeah.
Pero parang like to some kids, it's so difficult to convince them that hey, baseball doesn't require you to be 6'10" or whatever, diba? Pero parang it's the most realistic and practical for me. It's the most realistic and practical sport for kids to take up, especially with Mr. Loizaga, putting out this program for kids. And I think yung proof is, of course, your performance. SEA Games, Asian Baseball Championships. And di ba parang with that in mind, parang it's parang for you guys, parang happy, is it really exciting to see that Philippine baseball is leading towards a really really positive future?
Yeah, definitely. Because growing up, we used to have a league called Baseball Philippines.
Oh yeah.
And growing up, I've always wanted to be a part. Unfortunately,
It folded.
It folded, and I was not able to reach that league. So hopefully, moving forward, we could develop something like that.
Yeah.
And hopefully, let's say having amateur ball, hopefully make a semi-pro league, and eventually, hopefully, something like the PBAs for basketball, right?
We're praying for that too.
Yeah.
Pero moving on to the World Baseball Classic qualifiers, I think we're going to be bracketed with the UK, who's just ahead of us. Number 31 lang sila. And then New Zealand is below us. Pero in our group is Panama. Spain is there. I think Czech Republic is also there. Pero I know, Pao, diba, it's going to be a tough qualification process kasi it doesn't end in Arizona. Diba? Parang I think that's just the
Actually,
first.
we're not sure what the details. It's pretty confidential also.
Alright.
We're very curious about it. Even the groupings are not yet final.
Okay.
But those 12 teams are the ones competing.
Okay. But nevertheless, I know it's gonna be
It's
tough.
gonna be difficult.
It's gonna be tough. But what's one like lesson that you can bring from your SEA Games championship, your Asian Championships experience, like going to that qualifiers?
Well, I guess we have to maintain the level of play
Right.
we're playing, because we've played against teams like Korea, number 3 in the world. I
Sure.
think we can gauge the skill and competition we're gonna face.
Parang at least there won't be any shock factor over here. Parang you would know like the caliber of teams that you're gonna
Like
face.
parang kung matalo. If we win, we'll take it.
Okay. All right. But that's a good mindset to carry going to that qualifiers. Para at least you know where you stand, diba? You're grounded where you stand. And parang of course, parang you want to continue that. You want to continue that excellent play that you've built up, diba, over the past months, and I think that you will. And sige, before we end naman, Javi, your final thoughts and even siguro message na lang of appreciation for everyone who helped you and Pao and the rest of your team, diba?
Yeah.
Through this success dating back from the Asian Championships, going to your SEA Games gold. Sige.
Well, I just like to thank not just the Ateneo community but all Filipino baseball fans in general, especially the kids, for coming out and supporting us.
Yeah.
Given that a lot of our fans were young kids who actually played the sport. During the SEA Games, it's actually quite heart-filling to see them come out and watch us play. So we just like to say thank you on behalf of the national team.
Okay.
And we just hope that you continue supporting us, and hopefully we'll be able to continue our top performance, hopefully for many more tournaments to come.
All right, and with that, I also want to thank, of course, Pao and Javi over here for coming over to Radyo Katipunan, and it's always a pleasure to hear about your baseball stories, diba?
Thanks, Anthony.
Talk about MLB and everything, baseball over here. Parang again, it's always my pleasure to parang help shine some more light on Philippine baseball, bring it out there to the media and to whoever who's listening to us right now. And of course, with that, I'd like to thank, of course, the Ateneo community for helping out our baseball Blue Eagles, who, of course, UAP is gonna come up in a short while na lang. And yun din, to Philippine baseball fans out there for braving the rain, braving the drive all the way to Clark just to watch these guys, in action. It really means a lot, to help them and in their passion for baseball. And of course, again, as we mentioned, to the families and friends, diba, who have been there every step of the way from Little League to now, diba, to the level of success that they've achieved. One big thank you to all of you, and we'll see you again for more Ateneo Sports Stories only here at Radyo Katipunan 87.9 next week. See you guys again. Peace. Happy Makasayat and Paulo Makasayat, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Rundown, where we take you right into the action with the latest sports news, updates, game previews, breakdown, and analysis in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. And now, let's get ready to run down!
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak.